We're the Himalayan Peaks team, and we'll be showing you a few ways to visualize some of the information contained in the Himalayan database, which is an extensive collection of over 10,000 expedition records from the mountains of Nepal, spanning from 1905 to the present day. You can learn more about the details of this fascinating database on our welcome page. We're going to look at the peaks and the number of deaths and injuries that occur on each peak. The map below shows the location of each peak with concentric rings indicating the number of deaths and number of injuries that have occurred on that peak. You can hover over any of the peaks to see the specific values that those rings represent. In addition, there is a drop-down menu showing the total number of injuries and deaths for each year. You can click on any of these peaks to filter down to just that peak's information, and you can see our bubble charts for years and peaks below are filtered. You can also deselect just by clicking again. We can select a peak also using the name of the peak here in the bubble chart and get similar behavior. Click to deselect it. We can also choose a year of interest and see our peaks color-coded by the number of deaths that have occurred that year. We can also find specific numbers of deaths per year. For example, the most was 18 in 1 year. And if we click on that, we see it's Manaslu in 1972. Or we can look for the 3 years in which 11 deaths occur. In this case, they happen to be 3 years on Everest. In addition, our drop-down of injuries and deaths will have updated according to the cross filter. Next, we're going to explore how Himalayan mountaineering has grown. The chart on the left will show the cumulative number of attempts against the total number of fatalities on each mountain through the years. We can adjust the year in which the totals are added up to using the scrubber, and the size of the mountain represents the number of climbers, and the color of the mountain represents its fatality rate. We can see the specific metrics up until that year by using the tooltip on hover. We can also use the brush tool to select a specific set of mountains and see just that year's metrics by hovering over the mountains in the facet in the lower right. We can change to a different year and select a different group of mountains, and again, see the specific number of summits and fatalities. We're going to use the timeline to show us how trends have evolved in Himalayan mountaineering over the years. The animated timeline will take us through the number of successful summits against the total number of summit attempts for each year. And if we want to see that trend line, we can hover over any of the peaks. Additionally, we can click on a peak and see how the actual calendar years line up against the trend line, and click on a year to jump to see that specific year's activity. When mountains become close to each other and bunched up like this, we can use the brush tool to select them to zoom in and then see the similar metrics in more detail. We can do the same thing with a number of metrics, either by changing the year with the scrubber or with the drop-down, and then by changing the metric type to be injuries, fatalities, summit rates, or yearly attempts. That's our visualization, and we hope you have fun exploring the Himalayas.